So today we're going to talk about a place in Puri, India, that seems to play by a completely different set of rules. I mean, we're talking about a spot where the fundamental laws of science, physics, logic, they seem to just stop right at the front door. So that begs the question, right? Can a place like that really exist? A spot on Earth where the laws of physics just fail? Where everything we think we know gets turned completely on its head? Well, let's dive in and see.
The place we're talking about is the Jagannath Temple. Now, this isn't just any temple. It's one of the 4 great pilgrimage sites in Hinduism, what's known as a sacred Char Dham. And believe me, it is home to a whole collection of mysteries that have baffled scientists, historians, and believers for literally centuries.
All right, so to really get a grip on all the strange stuff happening at this temple, we have to go back, way back. We need to start with the origin story, the legend of how this temple and its very, very unique idols first came to be.
So the legend begins all the way back in 3102 BC. After Lord Krishna's body is cremated, something incredible happens. His heart remains completely unburnt, untouched by the fire. A hunter later finds this shining metal thing, as the story goes, and not knowing what it is, he puts it on a log and just sets it adrift in a river. Fast forward a few centuries, and a king named Indradyumna has this powerful dream where Lord Vishnu tells him to go find that exact log. And he does. But here's the thing, no one can carve it. It's just unworkable. Then, out of nowhere, this mysterious carpenter shows up. He says he can do it, but on one condition. He must be left alone, completely undisturbed, for 21 days. Well, the queen gets impatient, maybe a little worried, and has the door opened early. What does she find? The carpenter has vanished into thin air, leaving behind 3 incomplete idols. And inside the main idol, Lord Jagannath, is that very heart of Krishna. And that's the whole reason these famous idols are made of wood, not stone.
That unburnt heart has a name, the Brahma Padarth, which means divine substance. But here's where it gets really fascinating. Some interpretations don't just see it as a holy relic. No, they describe it as something more like an ancient, incredibly advanced energy transmitting device. Think about that. The wooden idol isn't just wood, it's an insulator, because a normal stone or metal statue supposedly couldn't handle the sheer power coming off this thing. Okay, so keep that origin story in your head, because now we're going to get into the really wild stuff. We're talking about the things that happen at this temple every single day. Things that seem to just spit in the face of science. All right, let's start at the very top of the temple. Do you see that flag? Now, Basic Physics 101, right? A flag always flies with the wind. Simple, we see it every day. But not here. At the Jagannath Temple, the flag always flies in the opposite direction of the wind. Every single day, without fail. How is that possible? Seriously, nobody has an explanation. And get this, that flag has to be changed every single day. And to do it, a priest has to climb 214 feet straight up the temple dome. That's like scaling a 20-story building, and they do it without any safety gear. It's an incredible feat of faith. And the tradition is so important, it's believed that if they miss changing the flag for even one day, the entire temple will have to shut its doors for the next 18 years. The stakes are incredibly high. And while we're talking about that massive 214-foot dome, here's another thing that will just blow your mind. It doesn't cast a shadow. Ever. At any time of day, from any angle you look at it, there's no shadow. An object that tall should throw a huge shadow across the ground, right? But this one, it just doesn't.
The mystery isn't just on the ground, it's in the sky above it too. I mean, sure, it's a no-fly zone for planes and drones. That makes sense. That's a human rule. But what about birds? For some reason, birds just don't fly over the temple. You will never see a single bird flying over the dome, and you won't even see them resting on the structure. For a building this big, that is just unheard of.
The strange architecture just keeps on coming. Look at the very top, that large metal disc. That's the Sudarshan Chakra, representing Lord Vishnu's weapon. Now, this thing is either an incredible feat of ancient engineering or something else. Because no matter where you are standing in the entire city of Puri, that chakra always looks like it's facing you. It's a bizarre optical illusion that follows you everywhere.
Okay, let's head inside now because the temple kitchen has its own whole set of miracles going on. This is where they prepare the prasad, the sacred food that's offered to the devotees every day.
And the miracle of the food here is twofold. First, they cook a set amount of it every day. But it doesn't matter if 500 people show up, or 5,000, or even more, there is always enough food for everyone. The pots never run empty.
But here's the other side of it, which is just as amazing. At the end of the day, not a single grain is ever wasted. It's the exact amount needed every single time.
But maybe the biggest mystery of all is how they cook this food. They use a really traditional method. 7 clay pots are stacked one on top of the other, all over a single wood fire. Now think about that. The laws of thermodynamics, right? Heat rises. The pot on the bottom, closest to the fire, should cook first. It's common sense. But in this kitchen, the exact opposite happens. The food in the very top pot, the one furthest from the fire, cooks first, then the one below it, and so on, all the way down to the bottom pot, which cooks last. It completely turns the science of heat on its head.
Now remember, everything we've talked about so far, the flag, the shadow, the kitchen, these are daily events. But now, we're going to talk about a ritual that is so sacred, so secret, that it only happens once every 12 years.
Remember the Brahma Padarth from the beginning? That divine substance? Well, the belief is that the energy coming off of it is so powerful that over time, it actually starts to break down the wood of the idol. So every 12 years, they have to carve brand new idols, and the Brahma Padarth has to be carefully moved from the old one into the new one. And the ceremony to move it is, well, it's intense. We're talking about a total blackout of the entire city of Puri. The head priest who performs the transfer has to be completely blindfolded. His hands are wrapped in layers and layers of thick cloth. The entire point is to make absolutely sure that this thing is never seen and never directly touched by human hands.
So what is it? No one who's done the ritual has ever said what it looks like. But there is one description that's been passed down from priest to priest, generation after generation. They all say the same thing. When they hold it, even through all that thick cloth, it feels alive. The most common description is that it feels like you're holding a small rabbit, something that's literally alive and hopping in your hands.
And there is a deadly serious reason for all that secrecy. The belief is unshakable. If anyone actually sees the Brahma Padarth, they will die instantly. And that is why this ritual is performed in total darkness and absolute secrecy.
So let's just recap for a second. We have a flag that flies against the wind, a giant dome that casts no shadow, food that somehow feeds everyone but is never wasted, a cooking process that defies thermodynamics, and at the very heart of it all, a mysterious, powerful object that feels alive and is moved in a secret ceremony under penalty of death. Which brings us right back to where we started. A flag flying the wrong way, maybe that's a fluke, a weird atmospheric condition. But when you start stacking one impossibility on top of another, and another, and another, you really have to stop and wonder, are we looking at a place where the laws of science just break down? Or are there answers that we just haven't figured out yet? So after hearing all this, what do you believe?